This cup of tea is indeed massive, but I might not need all of it. Welcome to Tea and Empathy with me, Penfriend. It's time for an Ask Me Anything. Or, now that I live in the East Midlands, shouldn't it be called Ask Me Out? OWT? Anyone? I'm sure you've possibly answered this in the past, so apologies. Have you ever, or would you ever, consider releasing music as Laura rather than, e.g., Penfriend? No, I don't want to release music under my name. There is some music released under my name, which is from a long time ago, which is from the days when I would write top lines and sing them on other people's music. So the very first Laura Kid release was in 2007, and that was me singing on Michael Gray's track Automatic. It was very exciting indeed, and he wanted to release it with my name on it, not his. I don't know why, but it was very sweet and kind of him, I thought. And yes, it was very exciting to have music out under my name. But shortly after that, when I started creating music that would become my first She Makes War album, I wanted to release it under a project name. She Makes War did start out as a band as well, in 2004-ish, so I named us then. And then when the other members decided not to do it anymore, I decided to go solo. When I came to the point where I realised that that name was no longer suiting me or my music in sort of mid-2019, I did consider all sorts of options of names to change to, one of which would have been Laura Kid, my name. And I just wasn't interested in it. I didn't think it sounded like compelling. I didn't think it summed up the music or like the kind of audiovisual world that I wanted to create, which I think Penfriend does. So for me, it was about having a name that is more than naming a person. It's a container for the music, the videos, the podcast, the writing, everything that I do within the Penfriend project all makes sense when you know that I'm called Penfriend. Or if you hear of Penfriend, perhaps you might have an idea of what that kind of thing might be. To me, it's heartfelt, honest, authentic letters, in the form of music, videos, writing, and all that sort of stuff. So it's obviously a lot more evocative than someone's name. So that's why I am Penfriend now, and I will always be Laura Kid as well. That is my name. Next question. Tim Parsons, is it possible to show us the process of writing a song? One of your favourite, maybe older songs that you know well enough to remember how it came together. That is such a good idea, and I would really love to do it. I will have to have a big think about that and look back through some notebooks, because my memory is hazy on so many things, especially when it comes to songs, because I don't know if you've heard of a thing called flow state. I don't know if I completely believe in these ideas, but I think it's interesting to talk about and think about. The idea that when you are doing something that you really love, and especially some sort of creative endeavour, that you kind of lose yourself in the thing and you're not really sure how it came together by the end of it. So what I'm saying is, even by the end of an afternoon where I've been writing a song, I couldn't necessarily tell you all of the steps I took to get to the end result. But I love this idea. What I do have, let me know if you're interested in me doing something with this, because it's been languishing on a hard drive for several years now. I shot a lot of footage during the recording of Exotic Monsters, my first Penfriend solo album. That came out in 2021. So this is footage from 2019, 2020, possibly 2021 as well. And it shows me, at the very least, recording many of the songs. I don't know if I shot some bits of writing some of the songs, but I might have done. I definitely shot footage of writing an Obey Robots song that I haven't edited together. I've already shared a video of writing Porcupine. I'll put the link to that video in the description box, because I really like that video. And I think if you're interested in seeing how songwriting works, I mean, this is just one example. It's different every time for me. It's different for, everyone. The way that they do things is totally different, I think. But if you're interested in seeing that, like a kind of fly on the wall thing, I think that stuff's fascinating. So that's why I decided to share that. So I do have, as I say, another Obey Robots songwriting video that I could make. And then there's, like I say, all of that Exotic Monsters footage. Do let me know. It's just sitting there. I would love to get around to it one day. And if you basically vote for it by letting me know you want to watch it, it's more likely to be made. I am in the middle of finishing songs for my new Penfriend record. And there are a couple that I was thinking it'd be fun to film writing them. Obviously, I have no idea if they will be successful songs. Successful meaning I finish them in a way that pleases me, that all the puzzle pieces come together and it ends up being something that I like. Doesn't always work. I talked about that recently in a video. I'll put that in the description box as well because I think it's funny. So thank you very much for that, Tim. That's a great idea and I would love to do it. Consider it firmly on the list. Michael Record always asks me excellent questions. Here's another one. I was going to ask, what does success look like to you? But considering that was your question to guests on your podcast, that seemed rather cheeky. I don't think it's cheeky, but I don't have a great answer for you. How about, as there can be large time gaps between writing a collection of songs, do you ever feel distance between the version of you who wrote the earliest song on an album to the version who wrote the last one? Is there a journey there? That is a great question. And it's not something that I think about a lot because usually I'm just most concerned with finishing the current record that I'm working on. But I do occasionally sit and listen to all of the records. I haven't done it for a long time to listen to them all back to back, but I'm planning to either before I start recording this one or once it's done and mixed and I can listen back to it and it can go at the end of this listening session. Because yes, there's definitely a journey there, isn't there? Because when I started writing Disarm, I was in my mid-20s. I just turned 43 and there are 6 albums that I have written. One is a collaboration album, the Obey Robots album, and all the other ones I wrote myself. And they span about 20 years, those songs, because the earliest songs that I wrote for Disarm would have been written in 2004 or 5. I think they were in 2005. I Am and Ghosts and Shadows. And then, of course, I'm writing songs right now. So what's that? 19 years? I have changed so much. My situation has changed so much. I've lived in so many different places. I have had various relationships. I've travelled. I have done so many different things. And pretty much all of it would have been absolutely unimaginable to me as a 23-year-old, 24-year-old, starting to write those songs. I had absolutely no idea that anyone in the world would want to listen to my music. All I thought about was writing an album, completing an album and releasing an album. I didn't know how I was going to release it in 2004-5. I had no clue. I just knew I needed to do it. I didn't think at all about people listening. I didn't know who they might be. I didn't assume there would be anybody. It wasn't about that. It was about making the thing. And then when I did make the thing, and when I did start releasing music, it was a total shock to me that it started finding an audience, honestly. When I listen to those earliest songs, I'm thrown back into the feelings, the emotions, the stories I'm telling in those songs, but it doesn't necessarily come into my mind where I was when I wrote them. But now you've asked me that question, and now I'm thinking about doing this afternoon of listening. I think that might be really lovely, actually, like a really good moment to mark the passing of time, to appreciate where I am now, and the fact that I'm still making music, I'm still writing songs. I had no idea that I could even complete, enough songs to be on a record, let alone do another one and then another one and, eventually make it my job. That was just not in my mind. Yeah, as always, Michael, you've given me a lot to think about and I appreciate you very much. I really like this question and it's gonna lead to something interesting, I think. And that's what's so great about this stuff. I mean, I often get in my own head about what's the point of making videos and trying to do this extra stuff, like, because, making music is my thing. Everything else could be seen to be extra. But I think this is why. Because for all of the weirdness of a person sitting in front of a camera in their front room and talking to hopefully some people through this lens, not in real time, no one's specifically inviting me to do this stuff. I just feel that it's something I want to do. It's about creating these spaces to have these back and forth interactions, to get these great questions that make me think about things and potentially deepen my creative practice. So I'm incredibly grateful and thankful for these questions. Thank you for sending them all in. Another question from Douglas Robertson here. Slightly weird question. Have you ever had second thoughts on a song name after it has been recorded or released? When this question came through, my immediate thought was, no, I haven't. I didn't think it was a weird question, by the way. I just thought, no, I definitely haven't. But sitting here now, I do. There are 2 songs that I cannot fathom why I didn't properly name them. One of them is called Intro, and the other one is called Segue, and they're on the same album. They're both on Little Battles, which is my second She Makes War album. Came out in 2012. All I remember about this is that at the time, I was really annoyed by someone I knew calling their songs Untitled, instead of coming up with a name for them. So I did name these songs Intro and Segue. The thing is, when things are so long ago, sometimes it's hard to remember why. That one might just have to remain a mystery, even to me. But yes, I have had second thoughts on song names. Those 2, rubbish names. All the others I'm very happy with. Thank you for your question, Douglas. I've got one more question here, another excellent one. This is from Lucid Letters. Do you have a go-to method for finishing albums? Well, funnily enough, I do, and I just made a video about that as well. So go and watch this one now, and I hope to see you next Sunday for another episode of Tea and Empathy. Have a great week.